Hey guys, so I know I haven't made a video in like forever. Obviously, lots of things have changed since last time you've seen me on YouTube. So I did move back to Minnesota with my family. Little Butt was born at the end of August, so she is 2 months old now. Wanna say hi? Wanna say hi, baby? Hi. Yes, I know she has a ton of hair, and it is about strawberry blonde. Not 100% sure where she got that from, but I'm thinking from Michael's side. Her name is Keeli Lauren Patience. I'll spell that for you right there. She has two middle names because I just wanted to name her Keeli Lauren, but Michael really liked the name Patience. He would not shut up about it. So I'm like, well, her first name is definitely not going to be Patience because I'm not a huge fan of it. So I'm like, okay, you can have one of the middle names because this is my only child that I will be getting to pick the name for, most likely. So he already got to pick his son Chance's name, so that's why. But I really like the two middle names. I think it has a nice flow. Keeli Lauren Patience. It's just, some people might not like it. They might think, it's too long of a name, blah blah blah, but she'll be a smart kid. It won't be an issue for her to spell it, I don't think. I just wanted to make a video introducing her and also talking to you guys about my labor and delivery story, as this was my first and probably only pregnancy. I did have a healthy pregnancy. I had absolutely no issues with her, just mostly issues with my body because of her. We were not like trying to get pregnant, I guess, like, but we weren't not trying, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. People ask if she was planned or was she a surprise. Kind of both. I mean, we had talked about, we wanted a daughter, a baby, but we really wanted a girl. And so I guess we just didn't protect ourselves from getting pregnant, I guess. Well, we just kind of said, whatever happens, happens. And so that is how she came about. So I didn't find out that I was pregnant until about 5 or 6 weeks, but that is pretty early. I took 3 at-home tests and they were all positive. So I went into the doctor and they were like, yep, you're pregnant. You're due on August 26th. And she came the day after the due date, so August 27th she came. So they were pretty spot on, I'd say. A little bit before Thanksgiving is the time of conception, I believe. And then we announced it to our families and close friends that I was pregnant, and then a little bit after that we made like the official announcement on like Facebook and social media and whatever, I think around Christmas time. So for the first trimester I did pretty much spot the entire time until about 13 or 14 weeks. And that concerned me, so there was a point where I actually made a specific appointment to get an ultrasound just to make sure that everything was okay, because I did have cramping also like a couple times, so I was just worried that there was something, not right. Like, did I have a miscarriage, with bleeding and cramps, that's the automatic first thing that you assume, I guess. But She is absolutely fine, obviously, thankfully. I lost my appetite almost completely. I lost 10 pounds during the first trimester just because everything made me feel nauseous, especially the thought, smell, taste of meat just made me want to throw up, like, for a really long time. And that obviously sucked because it's hard to get protein if you're not eating meat. But yeah, for a while it became, for a couple weeks, I remember I just didn't really want to eat any like hot or warm food. I just wanted like cold or room temperature foods. Just, I don't know, it just made me feel weird. But then thankfully that went away about the middle of the second trimester. That was the easiest part for me. I didn't really have anything special going on in the second trimester. But the third trimester, oh my goodness, the worst pelvic pain ever. Every time I would get out of bed, it just felt like my pelvis was being ripped apart. And I mean, it basically was because her head was so down low in there. Every time I had a cervix check with my midwife, she, could feel Keely's head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is she gonna be here early, blah, blah, blah. But she wasn't. I did lose the mucus plug twice before I gave birth, and I did have bloody show twice. So that just goes to show that just because you lose your mucus plug and have bloody show doesn't mean you're going to go into early labor or, whatever. The day before I gave birth, Michael and I had went to Walmart. We walked around for a couple hours and then got Taco Bell. Well, you know what they say, walk, 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 and eat the spicy food. Well, I'm pretty sure that worked because after we did that, I started having really bad back pain for a couple hours, and then it went away throughout the rest of the night. But then about at like 5 a.m. the next day, I started getting tiny little cramps, like nothing major, but as each hour went on, it got more intense, and by like 10 o'clock, I was like, okay, we need to call the doctor, like, I'm pretty sure this is it, like, this is getting really painful, I think we need to go in. So I called the doctor, and they were like, yep, you should probably come in, and the hospital is an hour away. I chose that because my mom lives closer to that hospital, and I wanted her to be there for the birth, so that's why I chose that hospital. So my mom did end up being there. She showed up like at the beginning of me pushing. We got to the hospital and basically things almost started happening right when I got there. About half an hour to an hour after I got there, I started pushing, and the freaking doctor, I went to a hospital that had 2 doctors on call for the weekends, and my regular midwife slash OB was not on call that weekend, and I gave birth on a Sunday. The other doctor that was not my doctor was on call. Well, she wasn't answering her phone, so she didn't show up to the hospital like right when I started pushing. And she comes in and she's like, I'm so sorry, I should know better than to keep my phone on me and have the ringer on loud and blah blah blah, dumb excuses. I had seen this doctor before because I had missed an appointment and I needed to make one for, the weekly checks during late pregnancy, and my doctor wasn't in that day, so I just had to see her. She checked my cervix and she just acted like she was just disgusted with me, and she just like didn't want to do it. Like, I don't know, it was really rude and odd. But on delivery day, she acted the same way except worse. Like, I was such an inconvenience to her that she needed to come in on a Sunday afternoon. and she just really acted like she didn't want to be there. Like, I was pushing and she was just sitting there just looking out the window, just, you know, I'm sitting there screaming, and the nurses are just kind of, you know, probably feeling the way that I'm feeling. Like, why are you acting like this? Like, this is your job. You went to school for this. You knew it was going to be like this when you entered this field. You knew that you were going to have to come into whenever. It just made me feel uncomfortable, and I wish I could have had my regular doctor, because she would not have acted like that. Her and I got along really, really well, and I just love her to death. So that's unfortunate that that woman made me and my husband feel that way, because that's not the way you want to make someone feel when they're giving birth. You know, that's supposed to be one of the happiest days of their lives. You're not supposed to make them feel guilty or like they're an inconvenience to you, because that, I mean, obviously it didn't ruin it, because, you know, I gave birth to this beautiful baby girl, but I would have enjoyed it a lot more if she wouldn't have acted like that. Shame. She should be ashamed that she made me feel that way, and I hate to say that about someone, but I can't imagine treating someone like that on the day that they're giving birth, you know, especially to their first child. You know, they've never done this before. I've never done this before. I didn't choose when she would come, you know. And had I arrived any later or left any later, I wouldn't have made it to the hospital on time, you know. I would have given birth in the car or at home or something crazy. So, I don't know. I think something needs to be done about that. I pray to God that she hasn't made other women and families feel that way and treated them that way, because that's just not acceptable to me. I don't know if any of you guys have had a similar experience like that. I just really, really wish that I could have had my regular doctor deliver on that day. That would have just made everything so much better, because now I'll always have that memory that the woman who delivered her was a bitch. That's true. I didn't even say anything about it, you know, during, but after the fact, you know, I talked to my husband, like, did she seem like weird and rude to us? And he was like, yeah, she acted like she didn't want to be there, and like we were an inconvenience to her. So, I mean, I can't do anything about it. I did fill out a survey that they sent me in the mail about my experience and stay there, and I did put on there how I felt. So, I mean, I don't know if one person's experience is gonna, you know, fire the lady or whatever. I mean, I don't want her to be fired, but if she treats everyone that way, then certainly she needs to either improve or find another career, because if she treats everyone that way, then she chose the wrong career path, because that's just unacceptable in my opinion. Anyways, she broke my water like midway through pushing. I pushed for probably like half an hour to an hour, and then little baby girl came out. Contractions were definitely the most painful part. Breaking my water didn't hurt at all. I didn't even really feel it. Let's see, what else? Saw her head coming out, and they're like, oh my goodness, she just has a head full of hair. And everyone asked me if I had heartburn. I didn't really have that much heartburn. I had a little bit of acid sometimes, but nothing like major. I didn't, like, wasn't in pain, so I don't know what that's all about. I think she might be pooping, actually. If I wanted to feel the hair on her head while she was, like, coming out of me, and I'm like, yeah, and then they grab my hand to bring it down there. I'm like, wait, never mind, I don't want to. I don't know why that is, I mean, I guess when you're giving birth, you say and do things that just don't make sense. But thankfully, that was the only weird thing that I said or did. I didn't, like, curse out Michael or slap him or anything. I just held his hand and squeezed the whole time. And I laid on my side, kind of elevated a little bit because, I don't know, for some reason, that just made me feel a little bit better, so. Yep, she pooped. You gonna poop throughout the whole video, babe? Reeks. Are we gonna have a leaker? I hope not. We just put this outfit on. 2 small tears, nothing major. They healed fine. I stayed in the hospital for an extra day because my hemoglobin was really low, and because I had lost a lot of blood for whatever reason. So I bled for like 3 weeks, I think, and then I had my period. So yeah, I pretty much bled for like 4 weeks, almost a month. But now woo, she's squeezing me when she's pooping. Should we get that pooping face on video, babe? She's been a pretty good baby. We did have a few struggles as far as spitting up goes and constipation, but we did try Zantac and I didn't feel like it did anything for her, so we just kind of stopped that and just did a new formula. I breastfed for 3 weeks and I just couldn't do it anymore. I just wasn't enjoying it and it was just really a hassle. I was trapped in the bedroom for like half the day pumping or feeding her because Michael didn't want our son, who's 10, to, you know, see my boobs and whatever. And that was annoying and getting depressing, so formula has just made my stay-at-home mom life so much easier, and also it's nice because anyone can feed her, you know. I don't have to make sure I have all this supply if someone needs to babysit her. Hey, she's having a meltdown. We just had to change the poopy diaper and change her outfit because she had a little blowout. Now we gotta eat. We don't mess around when it comes to food, huh, little pig? No, we do not mess around. It's eating time, isn't it? See? Calm her right now. So, where was I? What was I talking about? She's on Similac Total Comfort now, and it seems to be a lot better for her. As far as pooping goes, she's pooping every other day, sometimes every day. So, that's good. She went like several days without pooping, but she was peeing enough, and the doctor was like, you know, that's fine. It could be just her, you know, blah, 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 but I don't know. I read online that breastfed babies, it's fine if they don't poop that often because they absorb all of the nutrients pretty much from breast milk. There isn't really much waste. So I'm like, well, she's not breastfed anymore, so she should be pooping more frequently, you know, blah, blah, blah. It takes longer to digest, I know, but I don't know, it just didn't seem right to me for her to only be pooping like once a week, sometimes twice, so yeah. She's good now. She just does not like to be hungry. Right. You don't like to be hungry at all. No. But she is almost 10 weeks and she is doing 4 ounces about every 3 hours. Sometimes she sleeps through the night. Other times she'll just get up like once. It just really depends on her and if she's hungry or not. So yeah, I usually try to feed her before we all go to bed, and then she'll sleep through the night until at least like 5. I'll probably just include like a little slideshow of photos at the end, just because she's so cute and everyone just wants to see her. This video is all about her. Right now she weighs about 11 pounds and she's 23 inches long. She was born at 8 pounds 7 ounces and was 20.5 inches long. And so far she's really healthy. Only sickness she's had was thrush. She had it pretty bad in her mouth, so she had to be on medicine for that for like a week, and it finally went away, thankfully, because she was in pain, and that was hell because she was always crying. And no one likes to see their baby in pain, much less, you know, the constant crying just makes you so stressed out, even though you know that they can't help it. It's so weird sometimes when I'm not with her or by her, I just hear her crying even though she's not. I don't know, it's weird. Sorry, my cat's going crazy. Her tail's all puffed up. She's got a wild hair up her butt, I think. Muffy, what are you doing, girl? Jeez, your tail looks like a raccoon. Something. Anything else? Not really. Other than she loves her mama and daddy very much, huh? Yeah. Sometimes she just wants daddy and sometimes she just wants mama. That's just how it is, huh? Like sometimes I'll be holding her, she just won't stop crying, then I'll give her to Michael and she just stops crying. And sometimes it's the other way around. He's holding her and she just won't settle down. I take her and just hold her a certain way and she calms down. I don't know, so some people will say, you know, oh, mommy's girl, daddy's girl, blah blah blah, but she's definitely both. Aren't you? Yeah. Definitely both. I think it's because she spends so much time with me, and then, you know, of course I let Mike spend as much time with her as he can when he's, you know, off work and whatever, because obviously he's away from her all day and I'm with her all day, so yeah, I think it's a little bit confusing for her sometimes, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, I will see you guys another time. Not sure when that time will be. I know it's been like over a year since I made a video. Oh, I did get my driver's license, and actually on Halloween I just finished up my GED test and now I have my GED. So hopefully my husband and I can figure out stuff with student loans, financial aid, grants, and stuff like that so that I can start beauty school, because that's just something I really want to do. Something I've always wanted to do, so yeah. Hopefully we can get the ball rolling on that. Not sure. With little baby here. Just gotta figure things out. Nervous about daycare, and I mean obviously I'm not used to being away from her. The most I've been away from her is maybe like 6 hours maybe. So it'll be new for both of us. Won't it? I mean, as much as I want to stay home with her all day and, you know, blah blah blah, gotta make the change, you know. It's getting winter and my husband's work kind of declines as there's snow on the ground and it gets colder, so that's going to be challenging, and that's why I need to find a job. So yeah, not fun stuff, but it's all worth it for the little ones. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye. And now we're asleep. We're pretty close to it. Should give you a wig. Baby wig. Baby wig. Say bye bye. Bye.